European Commission has been promoting a new idea with regard to facilitating a solution to our long-standing problem on the island. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has been focusing on the issue of electricity production. Now, this is something, along with the way that we approach our hydrocarbons, that's been very much to the fore with presidential elections coming up next year. Achilleas Demetriades, well known to regular listeners, is a prominent Nicosia lawyer, and he's standing for the presidency. He joins us now. Achilleas, you've been saying for ages, I think, that hydrocarbons, energy in general, I suppose, should be something that can bring the two sides closer together. So what do you make of this idea of a bicommunal renewable park?
I'd say it's a very good idea. You're absolutely right. I think energy is the catalyst for starting and perhaps solving the Cyprus problem, starting the process, because we really need to have a kickstart of where we are now. And this idea by the president is a great one. Solar energy in the buffer zone is great. I think, bearing in mind that the electricity grid is still interconnected between the two communities, there is the possibility of setting up something in the middle, in what is now the buffer zone, which could actually supply energy to both sides of the Green Line. I understand that in the occupied areas there is a big issue with electricity these days. Production has fallen, there is no fuel to get the electricity generators going, and it's a serious issue. So this idea of a bicommunal solar park, I think is great. It's actually something you were kind enough to discuss some time ago. We tried to use the buffer zone to set up a bicommunal COVID hospital in the days that COVID had just started, and this was one of the ideas. Something else is a high-grade incinerator in the buffer zone where people can actually convert waste into electricity. And of course we have the biggest bicommunal project that has been going on, and that's the sewerage plan of Nicosia, which is actually working with the processing unit north of the Green Line and serving both communities. So bringing the two communities together is a great idea. The president of the EU has thrown this idea of solar energy as being a catalyst, and I think that's something we should all really look at very seriously.
Have you spoken to anyone in the north about how they think this will be received? Because the current authorities, shall we call them, there are very much against any form of confidence-building measures or anything else.
Well, yes, I know that they have this two-state policy and that they're not so keen on confidence-building measures, but this is a necessity. This is something the people are asking. Both sides of the Green Line have to deal with it. I think it's a great idea. We need to move into renewables as the EU has directed. The green agenda is something that is very important, and it's a fantastic opportunity. If the green agenda, the solar energy, could also be the catalyst to kick off the discussions for a solution of the Cyprus problem.
And I think probably the fact that this shortage of energy, which is probably going to get more acute as we move into winter, it's going to affect every single household, isn't it? So perhaps there could be a sea change in people's attitudes, because it will benefit everybody if this comes to pass.
Well, electricity prices are going up by 22%, I understand. That's the next bill that's coming, and I see no end to it. So there's two ways of dealing with it. One is lowering consumption, and that has to do with being more careful as to how we use energy and how we insulate our homes to deal with heat and cold. And the second level is renewables, and renewables could be auto-generating, for example, solar panels on our roof, or it could be a solar park in the buffer zone, which actually helps both communities equally well. So moving into the green aspect of energy and getting rid of fuel oil that we're burning, which also creates problems with the environment. We're getting a penalty because of the use kill two birds with one stone, if I can use that expression.
Now, you've been going around the various festivals, I believe, that we've had, and we always do have in August, with art festivals, music festivals and so on, talking to young people. What's the feedback you've been getting from them about any form of cooperation, not only with the Turkish Cypriots and the authorities in the north, but also about the long-term future, because they do all seem to be concerned about climate change and the environment?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think, well, just to close on the Cyprus issue, I think we need to look at that, and we also need some sort of restoring of credibility, because Brussels and New York don't really take us very seriously. Our credibility has been damaged, and my position on that is that the current administration is the one that has damaged this credibility, and people from this administration cannot possibly be the ones to restore it. So we need new people, we need new ideas in an effort to go forward. And that brings me to young people, as you have said. You're absolutely right. We're going round. We got a minibus and we're touring various festivals, various locations where young people are, and in fact where all kinds of people are. But the young, for me, are the most important group of voters or potential voters, because it is actually for them that we're trying to build a better place. So looking at the young is really serious. If you look at the statistics, more than half of the 18 to 25-year-old have not actually registered on the electoral roll. Therefore, they are not eligible to vote. In Cyprus, we have a system that you first need to register once you become 18-year-old, and that requires an application. It's just paperwork, and you become eligible to vote. But having not done that, then that doesn't work. And what has happened, it seems, is that these youngsters that have registered are mostly influenced by the younger groups in a political party, which arrange for them to have this registration done. And the others who don't belong to political parties don't seem to get this service, and in any event are feeling that the system doesn't represent them, so why bother? So our position on that is, in terms of the campaign, that we really need to increase awareness. We are trying to generate interest in young people registering so as to vote. And the line is, please register. You don't have to vote for us, but do register, because that is the only way you can actually influence the system. And not taking any stand is not simply a neutral position, it's a negative position, because that way you allow others to decide for you. So you're actually losing the opportunity you have to influence the system. And for this, we're putting up a free concert in September with Onirama, a band from Greece and a Cypriot artist. We're giving tickets for free if people can show that they have registered and they are eligible to vote. The concert is on Friday, the 16th of September, and people interested in getting a free ticket can call our office in Nicosia, and we can arrange for the tickets to be given to them.
And you're also, I think, offering, if they fill in the form, or at least sign it, that you will do the donkey work and fetch their voting book for them.
Absolutely, forgot to mention that. You're absolutely right. There are forms here. They need to pass by and sign the forms, because the government needs original forms. And then we present them, and then they get a notice saying that they have registered, and that actually does the job. I mean, had the government really wanted to facilitate this, they could have actually started allowing people to register electronically, or better still, the political parties who could have amended the law so that when you actually turn 18, you become eligible to vote immediately. Just like when you turn 18 and a piece of paper comes saying you have to go to the army because you are now required to serve national service. Why can't the system not generate a registration on the electoral roll as soon as you turn 18?
Indeed, it would simplify everything, would it not? Pleasure once again to talk to presidential candidate Achilleas Demetriades on the Cyprus News Digest.
Thank you very much, Rosie, and just let's try and run an honest day, because Cyprus really deserves better than what we have.